As people, we all have different characteristics. Whether they are good or bad, it's what makes us all unique. But what we all share that isn't unique is our experiences. Whether it's goofing off with your friends or losing a loved one, these experiences make us who we are. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and as you can see from the title of this video, I love slice of life anime. To simulate real life experiences we can relate to, that I feel is the goal of most slice of life anime. And a pretty lofty goal at that, as it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. So first, let's look at the lighter side of the spectrum. Comedic slice of life anime, like Daily Lives of High School Boys, really do capture that feeling of all the insane things we do growing up. With segmented episodes and fast-paced comedy, it's always an anime that I feel I can come back to for a quick laugh anytime, and for that, I must commend it. If the anime reminds me of anything, it would have to be those moments throughout growing up of causing mischief with friends, some moments that in retrospect sound really dumb later on, but at the time it was really all about having fun. Really, you can just look at the title of the anime, Daily Lives of High School Boys. It really does tell you up front what you're getting, and it for sure delivers. Then we have Nichijou, an anime that, just like Daily Lives of High School Boys, does not try to cram in tons of unnecessary plot points and characters, but instead focuses all of its efforts on creating a fun and colorful cast of characters with fast-paced comedic moments in every episode. Once again capturing the feeling of growing up, this time I feel instead of focusing on the mischievous insanity of it all, focusing on the overactive imagination and awkward situations that we all deal with at some point in that period of time. For example, the scene where Mio's secret is discovered, or when the main characters get bitten by dogs. It's fast-paced, exaggerated moments like those that really show the full potential of the slice of life genre, and it holds a special place in my heart, because I could be having an absolutely horrible day, and if I go back to those shows, I'll still get a chuckle or two. Though then, moving on from that style of slice of life anime, I would also mention Lucky Star, but I'd be kind of repeating myself at that point. Now onto the more romantic side of the spectrum, and while I know for a fact that these are not for everyone, they do hold quite the bit of significance. Real Life, for example, is a great slice of life, not only for its interesting premise, but its theme of second chances. Now, I think we can all say that there are points in our lives where we screw things up, and it permanently affects us in one way or another. I, for one, know the feeling all too well. While the series has its not so great moments from beginning to end, it really achieved its main goal, because just the concept of being able to redo your past mistakes being put into action with a bit of romance thrown in makes for quite the slice of life anime. But then, we have an anime that is truly genius in what it did. Pandering to your audience is always something I feel an anime has to consider somewhat. And when you don't force it, but blend it in with the premise of the story, it can make for some really great shows. Love, Churibyo, and Other Delusions really resonated with me a bit too much, and I'm sure it did with many other people too, as we've all been there. We've all done stupid, regrettable things growing up, like being incredibly edgy. It's really just a step we all have to get past to move on to greater things, and the way this story portrays that aspect of youth is all too familiar. And finally, my favorite of the bunch, Toradora. Unlike other anime of its caliber, it does things that set it aside as not only a slice of life anime, but an amazing rom-com. For instance, the chemistry created between each character is something that I can say really does resemble that of what you'd see in everyday life, and I adore that. Like people, every character had a reason for their actions instead of the usual, oh that's just a tsundere. With a story that's just as much unpredictable as it is heartwarming, it truly succeeds as a slice of life anime. But now, we have reached the other end of the spectrum, the dramas. Tearjerkers that may bring you back to moments of your life that you too went through similar situations. This may have been a bit of an obvious mention, but I can't not talk about Clannad. In particular, Clannad After Story, because while the original series is fantastic on its own, After Story really does take that extra step into a territory that not too many anime tend to go into. While the beginning is not much to look at, the latter half of After Story tells a story of a broken man. Someone who tries so hard to achieve his goals and make his hopes a reality, but in turn being completely and utterly crushed by the actual reality of everything. It's a feeling that many of us struggle with, and it's something that I never would have thought that an anime of all things could convey. It takes a lot to make a character feel like a real person. You need to have a balance of emotions like no other, but I must say that Tomoya and his daughter Ushio have got to be the most real depiction of a single father and his daughter that I have seen in just about any anime ever. Just the transition from heartbreaking to heartwarming is something that puts this as not only one of my favorite anime ever, but one of the best slice of life anime out there, if not the best. But then there is one more anime out there. One that deals with another incredibly real topic. People change. As we grow older, our ideals we attain as children mature into our personalities as members of society. Anohana, like After Story, is a story of loss, of burying your feelings within yourself, therefore not allowing you to move forward in life. With the main characters all having to grow up, dealing with the loss of one of their best friends, this surprisingly simple anime becomes something that nearly anyone can relate to. We all have our coping mechanisms, and for a slice of life anime like this, to make that a driving point really shows how versatile the genre truly is. So with all of that said, why exactly do I love this genre so much? I'd say because the experience is honestly much more personalized in my opinion. It truly shows just how real something like anime can become, and I find that to be truly amazing. How after watching a series, you actually feel emotions for the characters on the screen. And it isn't just something that goes away after a day or two, but just the fact that you watched it actually stays with you over time and makes you have meaningful thoughts, whether they be self-reflective or reflective on life in general. So in the end, here's a lasting thought for you all. When you think slice of life, you think an anime that just takes place in a town or neighborhood with no huge extravagant plot, right? Well, when I hear slice of life, I don't think it's a slice out of the characters' lives, but a slice out of all of our lives, because all of the aspects of these anime combined, the silly, the sad, and the romantic, really do make up not only me, but all of you out there watching this video right now. So I know this was a bit different from my usual videos, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. I felt I would be literally betraying myself if I didn't make this, honestly. However, today's cool thing of the day would have to be another slice of life anime that I really could not decide where to put in this video, Mushishi. Mushishi is really an art piece in anime form, and it is for sure one of the most interesting anime that I've seen in quite a while. So I suggest you all go check it out. Though that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.